This sandbox for this week is an EPET assignment. And what you will see here is that I've provided you with a nice virtual pet starter file. And if you don't understand what I mean by virtual pet, you ever seen one of these before? Yeah, the Tamagotchi. These are generic Tamagotchi. I don't know where I got. They're super generic, but these have always baffled me because you have to understand. By the time these were invented, I already had several kids of my own, and kids are like the ultimate version of this, right? Like you got to feed them, change them, pay for their stuff. Like they get bored. So complicated compared to this. If kids were this easy, I might have not stopped at 7, um, but they're not. All right, so these I don't really understand. I never saw the appeal of, but they're a great model for what we want to do. And so what you want to do is you want to get that starter file. You don't have to use the starter file. Where did I do with that? Oh, there it is. Thank you. That's what I get for not wearing my glasses, huh? Okay, so I have created a fairly sophisticated virtual pet class for you, CLPet. You can see here it's got an initialization that takes a name, starts out with a hunger score of 5 and a boredom score of 5. And it says, when you create it, it says you adopted a new pet named whatever you name it. I also have a string method that returns the pet name, their hunger score, and their boredom. It's sort of a status check. It has a method called take turn. And what it does when I take a turn is a little bit of time passes. And so the pet gets randomly more hungry and randomly more bored by taking somewhere between 0 and 3 away from their hunger and boredom score. And then it says if the hunger is less than 4 and the int hunger is greater than 0, it says the pet is hungry. If the int hunger goes to 0, then then the pet leaves you. I don't have it die. I wanted it to keep it light here. The pet just leaves. It walks away. So if the boredom is less than 4 and the boredom is greater than 0, then it says it's bored. Again, if it gets too bored, it finds somewhere else to entertain itself. And then I have a feed pet and a play pet. So you can play with your pet or you can feed the pet, and that gives the hunger and boredom a +5. Okay, and then what I have here is a list that's going to contain the pets. And we've got a menu structure. A lot of this should be familiar to you by now. Okay, so we have the creation of the pet, and this is where you come in. Okay, so we are looking at, and this is heavily commented code. This code is the functional piece, but the comments are there to help you understand what's going on. And then you need to take what you learn from feeding the pet and apply it to the playing with the pet. And then we can, this here, okay, at the very end of the code, at the very end of each loop of this game, it goes through each pet in the list, and it says if the boredom is 0 or if hunger is 0, then remove the pet from the list. Okay, so we're removing it by value. And so that pet, when it runs away, actually gets removed from the list. So this will function right now, as long as I don't try and feed the pet. But what you need to decide also is, where do we take turns on the pets? Adopt, feed, play with the pets, or check on pets are the menu options.
Do it after you feed it or play with it.
Yeah.
Check it.
So we want to take a turn for every pet. And so what I would suggest is the creation of a function that allows us to go through each pet and take a turn on that pet. Or I can just do this kind of code and call take turn on each pet very easily. So you can do it either way. But what I'm going to do is, after I feed the pet, we'll take turns. So I'm going to say for OB pet in LI pets, OB pet, take turn. That's it. So now, I don't think you should have to lose a turn for checking on the pets. But maybe when you adopt a pet, we should do it. Let's take a turn when we adopt.
For all of it?
Yeah, so it makes it more complicated. Does it make it too hard?
Yeah, just don't have
I think it's going to be easy. If you can get to 5 pets in this game without adjusting the difficulty, you're a mastermind. I will tell you that right now, because this game is hard. Sam, you adopted a new pet and named them Sam. What if I want to? Okay, so I want to check on my pets. Sam, hunger and boredom. Okay, so I'll play with the pet. Play with the pet. Okay, so 2 doesn't do anything. Feed a pet. Feed a pet. Oop, what do we got going on here? Something happened. Oh, number of pet that I want to feed. That's why I chose poorly. Okay, so we'll adopt Sam. We'll adopt another one. George. Okay, so we'll check on the pets. Okay, we got Sam and George, hunger and boredom. So I'm gonna feed a pet, and I'll feed Sam. Uh-oh, George is hungry already. So if I check on the pets, you can see we've got a problem here because Sam is bored and George is hungry. So I'm already kind of screwed here. So so you may want to adjust the difficulty here. Another thing, let's go back before we get lost playing with our virtual pets. See, I can't see the appeal at all of these things. So what I would suggest is once you get the pet working with feeding and playing with the pets, maybe try and spice up the game a little bit. Maybe differentiate. Actually, don't do that yet. Let's say maybe give a third thing that you can do with the pets. Hunger, boredom, I don't know, grooming. Yeah, that's a good one. Maybe change the wording a little bit, tweak the difficulty to make it less difficult, probably. If you make it more difficult, it's unplayable. But those are some of the things. What I want you to experience with this, obviously I've created the class for you. So what I want you to get used to doing is implementing a class as part of a list. That's really where we're at. And then what we're going to do in our next class is we'll dig a little deeper into basics of object-oriented programming, and then we'll have an assignment that requires you to actually create a class. So that's kind of the trajectory of where we're headed. But see if you can get this game fully functional and all of that. So that is the sandbox for today.
That's the sandbox?
That's a